Earth's oceans. They're involved in almost everything we do, from getting food to checking the weather, and even washing our faces. They have such a large impact on our lives that it's about to get substantially smaller. I'm sure you've all heard the fact that 70% of the Earth is covered in water. But did you know that 94% of life on Earth is contained in that 70%? And that in our lifetimes, these same oceans will be completely uninhabitable. This part of our planet that doesn't have light more than 330 feet down, thus being in complete darkness most of the time, is about to see an even darker future.
Among the abundant sea life that is found in the North Pacific Ocean, there lies a large collection of marine debris called the Great Pacific Garbage Patches. Due to the currents that run along the waters of the west coast of the North America to Japan, the massive collection of debris has turned into a revolving trash can that is only becoming larger. The convergence zone, where warm water currents meet the cold water currents, act as a highway that traps the debris from one patch to another. These microplastics are so small that it's close to impossible to see with the naked eye. However, it does make within the affected area appear cloudy soup, with the occasional larger object that is as well known as non-biodegradable. It is agreed among scientists and explorers that the solution to this problem is in the decreasing amount of non-biodegradables and plastic disposables that humans use. Large organizations who have decided to dedicate themselves to advocating the solutions to the garbage patch have used social media and direct action campaigns to promote the idea of creating plastic and toxic disposables into biodegradable and reusable materials. Growing up, we've all seen documentaries on the amazing Arctic tundra, most commonly known as the polar ice caps. Multi-year ice, thick ancient layers of ice, are able to last several cycles, while newer, younger ice will quickly melt and freeze over in the winter. These ancient ice sculptures, however, have been disappearing faster than they are being recreated. Majority of these disappearances occur in the Arctic Ocean, where multi-year ice covers 15% of the ocean's surface, while studies have found that they diminish at a negative rate of 15.1% per decade. The average ice thickness of the Arctic Sea ice cover is declining because of its rapidly losing its thick component, the multi-year ice. At the same time, the surface temperature in the Arctic is going up, which results in a shorter ice forming season.
80% of the pollution in the ocean starts on land. Every time you drive to the grocery store, you make a difference. Putting CO2 into the air, bringing home plastic bags, throwing trash in the garbage. So much of it affects the rest of our planet. There are three major sources of pollution: sewage, oil, and trash. Sewage is everywhere, every day. From taking showers to flushing the toilet, the sewage that we send down the tubes has great potential to land in the ocean. Included in our sewage is runoff from major companies, minerals from mining, and our own garbage. Toxins from the minerals have the potential to reduce water quality. Toxic chemicals from industrial and agricultural industries negatively affect the ocean's pH level and the marine life sustainability. Overflow from rain picks up fertilizers and harmful substances and carries it directly into the ocean. These excessive nutrients create algae blooms, and then the algae will feed and rob the entire ocean area of its nutrients. This creates what's known as a dead zone, which makes it unlivable for all creatures. There are an estimated 400 dead zones across the world. The toxicities add to the decreasing quality of our oceans. Second, oil spills. Oil spills are extremely detrimental to the ocean. Oil is sticky and almost impossible to remove, but equally impossible to live with. Oil comes from many sources. Most often, we hear about the oil spills from large companies. In fact, 44% of pollutants are from runoff and not large oil spills or natural disasters. This doesn't mean that large oil spills aren't a massive crisis. They are. But it just means that we can't blame the oil companies without blaming ourselves. We harm all sorts of ocean life when oil is leaked into the ocean. Wings get coated, gills get covered, and massive massacre begins. These steps we take to clean up the ocean after a spill are not nearly effective as the steps we should be taking to prevent spills and leakages from happening. The last of the three big pollutants is arguably the most talked about, trash. Everyone has seen the turtles with the soda rings around their neck and the dolphins with their heads stuck in plastic bags. But can you imagine that happening to hundreds of thousands of creatures every single day? The trash island is larger than Texas. It is not just one or two animals being affected, it's all of them. Each plastic bag that gets tossed into the wind has the ability to end up in the ocean, and each plastic water bottle has the potential to kill another animal. It takes many years for plastic to break down, but it will never truly dissolve. Unless we take some serious steps, the plastic in our ocean is here to stay.
Pollution has many terrible effects on the oceans that reside on our planet. First off, it directly kills various animals through suffocation in plastic bags or being trapped in a variety of items such as leftover fishing nets and cages. These pose hazards to wildlife that they aren't able to overcome due to their inability to recognize the dangers before they encounter them. Then, if they aren't killed off by the immediate dangers presented by the pollutants themselves, they'll be weaned down and eventually slain by the inability to live in their own homes due to acidification. Simply put, acidification is when the pH level of the ocean goes down, thus causing it to become more acidic. This change influences all trophic levels starting from the very bottom. Creatures that require shells to live and grow are unable to grow those shells due to an increase in carbonic acid. And since their shells are more weak, their frail bodies are more easily exposed to their dangerous predators. Then, if natural predation due to dehabitation fails, the rising temperature will not. With the temperature increase, marine life is forced to make adaptations to survive in warmer temperatures. However, for a majority of them, these adaptations cannot be made quickly enough. Some creatures, such as corals, get bleached and they die, which prevents others from getting all the benefits from the colony. Overall, this causes immense damage to all marine life.
As occupants of the earth, it is our duty to protect the oceans. Here are 10 ways that we can start. 1. Be aware of the energy that we use and be mindful of our carbon footprint. 2. Make conscious choices about the seafood we consume. Choose to eat seafood that's both healthy and sustainable. 3. Limit the amount of plastic we use because much of the plastic used makes its way back into the oceans. 4. Take care of the beaches by keeping them clear of litter. 5. Try and avoid purchasing products that were made with marine life. 6. If you have pets, be aware of the seafood that's in their dog food. Also, don't flush cat litter. 7. Be supportive of ocean conservation groups and organizations. 8. Be an advocate for change. And 9. Be responsible when you are doing activities in the ocean. 10. Get educated.
Luckily, we aren't alone. There are organizations that have started to tackle this pollution problem, and serious steps are being taken to remove the trash islands. Andrew Turton and Pete Zielinski have developed and are working on funding the Sea Bin, a fixed bin that was made from recycled materials that works like a pool filter, collecting all the garbage found in the marinas across the world. They are eco-friendly and perfect to rid the ocean harbors of their garbage. The other cleanup organization working is called the Ocean Cleanup Project, which is an organization that is cleverly using placed nets to trap the ocean's pollution and will potentially reduce some of the trash islands by 42%. This massive undertaking is one of the greatest movements yet. These organizations wouldn't be possible without volunteers and funding, so go and see what you can do to get involved.
So, over the course of this, we've gone through and given you the problem. Swirling heaps of garbage inhabit our oceans, a place that they definitely should not be. The ice caps are melting, which may not seem like a big deal to you right now, but your mind will change when you're sitting under the over 60 meters of water that will come after the poles melt. You know what causes this now? Sewage, oil spills, and your trash. Things that are all controllable. If left uncontrolled, however, the consequences already are dire. For some marine species, and then eventually for us humans. However, there's a bright side to all of this, even though it may just seem like the light you see before you go on. We can fix this, and it's not terribly hard either. So we charge you. You know basic facts. Go learn more, educate others, and live your life in a way that your grandchildren will be able to live comfortably. Because if you don't, there won't be much left for them at all.